Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the color guard positions themselves for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Left wheel, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is now my honor and privilege to introduce our Commandant of Midshipmen and Vice President of Student Affairs, Captain Mark Winter, to introduce today's guest speaker. Captain Winter.
Thank you, Commander Christian. First of all, I want to say thank you to our national anthem singers. They did a great job today, and I'd like to, we all give them a nice round of applause. Thank you very much. Before I introduce our guest speaker, I would like to take a moment and remember a colleague, Lance Burton, a member of the MMA faculty who sadly passed away unexpectedly last Friday. Lance was a 1990 graduate of Maine Maritime Academy and worked at Newport News for several years before returning to Maine. Lance owned and operated several businesses before coming back to Castine and joining the faculty as an engineering professor. Lance was a popular teacher with all of his students. We are thinking of Lance's wife, Lisa, and the rest of their family during this difficult time. Can we please pause for a moment of silence to remember Lance, MMA graduate, faculty, friend, and shipmate. Thank you. It is now my honor and privilege to introduce today's guest speaker, Mr. Christopher O'Schlegel. Chris is a 2005 graduate of Maine Maritime Academy, receiving a degree in Marine Systems Engineering. He began his career as a nuclear ship test engineer at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard in Kittery, Maine. Chris worked as a civilian nuclear engineer for the Naval Sea Systems Command for 16 years, before moving to Orbis Cibro as the Senior Submarine Program Analyst and Project Manager. But before that impressive career, Chris served as the Regimental Commander, as the RC, for Maine Maritime's Regiment of Midshipmen in 2003 and 2004. Yes, he graduated in 2005. He was a 5-year systems guy. Without further ado, please help me welcome Christopher O'Schlegel to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Good evening, Mr. Johnson, Dean Davis, Captain Winter again, Captain MacArthur and Chief Coy, faculty, staff of Maine Maritime Academy, and of course, the Regiment of Midshipmen. It's a privilege to speak to all of you at this significant event that's steeped in honor and mariner tradition. 21 years ago, I accepted the responsibilities as the oncoming regimental commander. As the ceremonies concluded, the assistant commandant, a retired United States Marine Corps gunnery sergeant, tapped me on the shoulder, leaned in closely, and said, "I'll see you in my office tomorrow at 0700. Aye, aye, I replied. I was sure that he wanted to congratulate me in a private setting. At 0700 on my first morning as the newly minted regimental commander, I knocked 3 times loudly on the AC's office door. "Enter," he replied. "At attention," he ordered me. I snapped to attention, wondering what gift the man was about to bestow upon me. Grinning in anticipation of an award of some kind, I proudly shouted, "Yes, sir." Mr. O'Schlegel, at last night's change of command, I counted 14 midshipmen who did not have the heels of their dress shoes polished. "How do you plan to address this matter?" the AC inquired. Now, surely the AC must be mistaken. I'm the regimental commander. I don't need to concern myself with such insignificant matters. We should be discussing policy matters, not compliance with uniform standards. Partially concerned with where my special award was and partially confused as to why I wasn't receiving special congratulations, I replied with, "Sir, I don't see how this is my concern." To this day, I can't explain how the AC covered the distance between his desk chair and 6 inches from my face in less than a second, but I swear that he did. At greater than 80 decibels, the AC calibrated my prioritization protocol. I can still feel the guttural thud of the AC's right pointer finger driving against my sternum, amplifying the first letter of each word he addressed me with. I was given until 1600 to provide him with definitions for the words responsibility, authority, accountability, and tact, and a self-assessment against each of those terms. Not exactly how I thought I'd start my first day as the new RC. Volumes of content have been produced on organizational leadership theory. Simon Sinek says that leadership is all about trustworthiness and less about aptitude or ability. General James Mattis tells us to listen first, then learn, then help, and then and only then can you lead. Brené Brown believes that above all else, good leaders have the courage to be vulnerable with their teammates. So what do you do with all this content? What process can you follow that will enable you to lead up, across, and down your chain of command? Admiral Hyman G. Rickover, the father of the nuclear navy, conceptualized a nuclear-powered submarine in 1948 and then put USS Nautilus to sea in January of 1955. This action gave the United States of America an enduring asymmetric military advantage. Rickover said that the first step towards accomplishing anything is to have a goal, and goals are set by people and not by organizations. During my 16-year career at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, I served as a civilian in many roles within the Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program. As the captain mentioned, qualifying as a nuclear shift test engineer was hard work, academically, physically, and emotionally. I had to work on my own skills and aptitude to earn the right to lead a watch section and operate the reactor and the steam plant through rigorous testing programs on fast attack submarines. But here's the catch. I wasn't allowed to touch anything. I had to learn how to get the most out of each individual manning the 12 stations of the Condition 2 watch bill. In the research and experimentation that I've performed in my adult life, I've found that getting the most out of individual contributors comes down to three basic things. Each person needs to, 1, achieve mastery, 2, become autonomous, and 3, see their purpose and feel connected to the mission. So how do you know where your teammates and subordinates are on their individual journeys towards achieving all three of these things? The answer is simple. It's all about engagement. President Ronald Reagan said that the greatest leader is not the one who does the greatest things. The greatest leader is the one who gets the people to do the greatest things. Here is where you as a leader walk a fine line of exercising your authority through your influence. Establishing your credibility means that you do the thing alongside your people before you step back and allow the void you create to be filled. While there's no secret sauce to becoming an ideal leader, my advice to each of you boils down to these 5 things. Number 1, be present. Feel the steel deck plate under your feet. Keep your head where your feet are. Give your people your undivided attention. Embrace every single moment as a learning opportunity. Number 2, don't live with deficiencies. Living with deficiencies sets the wrong standard. Have unremittingly high standards for yourself, but be forgiving of others. Number 3, inspect what you expect. Go to the place and look at the thing with your own eyes. Your presence matters. Seize the opportunity to spend more time with your people. The small details, like polishing the back of your uniform dress shoes, truly matter. Attention to detail demonstrates a commitment to a higher standard. Number 4, be authentic. Nearly anyone can detect a fraud. Share your learning experiences with your people. Tell your people what you're working on to better yourself, and tell 2 stories of your failures for every one of your successes. And the 5th item, stick to your values. Find the values that define you. Never willingly relinquish your values for a short-term win. Finally, know that when you remove your uniforms for the last time, the cloth of this institution remains imprinted upon you. Each of you will emerge as leaders amongst your peers, characterized by strong work ethics, confidence checked with humility, and a firm handshake. The challenges you face here are building your grit and your resilience for what you will face. You are brand ambassadors of this institution, the state of Maine, and the United States of America. Stand tall and be proud. We are Mariners. Good luck and Godspeed. Thank you.
Our change of command ceremony this afternoon represents the formal transfer of authority from the first class to the second class at the company commander and regimental commander level. The transfer of command authority is conducted in a simple but time-honored exchange where the new leader states their readiness for command. The incumbent indicates they are prepared to relinquish command, and they exchange the company guidon and are stand ready to carry out the orders of the regimental commander. Following the change of command, the company commanders, the incoming and outgoing regimental commanders will follow the same process as the incoming regimental commander, will state his or her readiness for command. The outgoing regimental commander indicates that he is prepared to relinquish command, and the transfer is carried out through a salute and a report to the Commandant. As custom dictates, the ceremony occurs before the entire regiment to demonstrate the continuity of leadership and to remind those taking over the immense responsibility they now have to their peers and shipmates. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the outgoing student leaders for their sacrifice, determination, and most importantly, their dedication to their classmates and to Maine Maritime Academy. For the incoming student leaders, we look forward to supporting you as you grow as leaders. Now, for those guests joining us in person and remotely, on behalf of the midshipmen before you, thank you for your attendance and enjoy the change of command ceremony. A company commander is the commanding officer of a company, a unit which typically consists of 100 to 200 personnel. At Maine Maritime, each company averages 120 midshipmen. The commander is assisted by their executive officer, and the midshipmen are organized into 4 smaller units called platoons. The outgoing class of 2024 company commanders are, for Band Company, Midshipman First Class Henry Richardson, a Marine Engineering Technology major from Cohasset, Massachusetts. From Alpha Company, Midshipman Second Class Dwayne Tibbetts, a Marine Engineering Technology major from North Old Town, Maine. From Bravo Company, Midshipman First Class Chase Crockett, a Marine Engineering Technology major from Bristol, Maine. From Charlie Company, Midshipman First Class Zachary Mercier, a Marine Engineering Operations major from South Berwick, Maine. Delta Company, Midshipman First Class Aidan Brown, a Marine Systems Engineering major from Cape Elizabeth, Maine. And from Drill Company, Midshipman Second Class Anthony Hall, a Marine Systems Engineering major from Winterport, Maine. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2024 company commanders. These highly talented leaders will be relieved by the following. Band Company, Midshipman Second Class Isaiah McCann, a Power Engineering Technology major from Canaan, Maine. From Alpha Company, Midshipman Second Class Peyton Thomas, a Vessel Operations Technology major from Sister Bay, Wisconsin. From Bravo Company, Midshipman Second Class Ethan Dorval, a Marine Engineering Operations major from Cape Elizabeth, Maine. Charlie Company, Midshipman Second Class Aaron Myers, a Marine Transportation Operations major from Miami, Florida. From Delta Company, Midshipman Second Class Zana Dixon, a Marine Transportation Operations major from Urbandale, Iowa. And from Drill Company, Midshipman Second Class Zachary Hamill, a Marine Transportation Operations major from Severna Park, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2025 company commanders. The regimental staff, or wedge as they are known throughout the academy, is responsible for overseeing the day-to-day operation of the Regiment of Midshipmen. They are integral to fulfilling our regimental mission. Many students enter the regiment to gain management and leadership experience. However, these midshipmen sought to go beyond simple participation and volunteered to endeavor to make this program better. I'd like to introduce the outgoing class of 2024 regimental staff. Regimental Executive Officer, Midshipman First Class Jared Dignan, a Marine Transportation Operations major from Nahant, Massachusetts. Cadet Master, Midshipman First Class Maxwell Dingle, a Marine Transportation Operations major from Rockport, Maine. Cadet Chief Engineer, Midshipman First Class Jace Chenard, a Marine Engineering Operations major from North Fort Myers, Florida. Regimental Adjutant, Midshipman First Class Damian Arsenault, a Marine Engineering Technology major from Rumford, Maine. Regimental Master of Arms, Midshipman First Class Valentin Serbin, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Regimental Physical Training Instructor, Midshipman First Class Danny Stash, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Freeport, Maine. Regimental Public Relations Officer, Midshipman First Class Erica Penny, a Vessel Operations Technology Major from Poquag, New York. Regimental Morale Officer, Midshipman First Class Bryson Bailey, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from Wilton, Maine. Regimental Senior Striker, Midshipman First Class Connor Bullier, a Marine Systems Engineering Major from Jay, Maine. Regimental Academics Officer, Midshipman First Class Elijah Yeaton, a Marine Systems Engineering Major from Farmington, Maine. Cadet Chief Mate, Midshipman First Class Elizabeth Cashman, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Kingston, Rhode Island. Cadet First Engineer, Midshipman First Class Cody Hanscom, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from Lincoln, Maine. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 Regimental Staff. And now introducing the incoming class of 2025 Regimental Staff. Regimental Executive Officer, Midshipman Second Class Brody Hathorn, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from Turner, Maine. Regimental Operations Officer, Midshipman Second Class Colin Cacciatore, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Canaan, New Hampshire. Cadet Master, Midshipman Second Class Vincent Ricciardi, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Glenside, Pennsylvania. Cadet Chief Engineer, Midshipman Second Class Matthew Eckert, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from Wiscasset, Maine. Regimental Adjutant, Midshipman Second Class Evan Kowalski, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Castine, Maine. Regimental Master of Arms, Midshipman Second Class Dwayne Tibbetts, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from North Old Town, Maine. Regimental Senator, Midshipman Second Class Sawyer Carson, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from Belfast, Maine. Regimental Public Relations Officer, Midshipman Second Class Lincoln Graff, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from Searsmont, Maine. Regimental Morale Officer, Midshipman Second Class Miles Bracey, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Damariscotta, Maine. Regimental Senior Striker, Midshipman Second Class Shale Leskowitz, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Marlton, New Jersey. Regimental Academics Officer, Midshipman Second Class Owen Tyler, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from Floral Park, New York. Cadet Chief Mate, Midshipman Second Class Emma Brodum, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Corvallis, Montana. Cadet First Engineer, Midshipman Second Class Emma White, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from New Sharon, Maine. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2025 Regimental Staff. Attention to orders. 2023-2024 Regimental Commander, Midshipman First Class Peter Shelton graduated this past December, and his Executive Officer, Midshipman First Class Jared Dignan, a Marine Transportation Operations Major from Nahant, Massachusetts, assumed the duties as the Regimental Commander. Midshipman First Class Dignan, when directed, relinquished command as the Regimental Commander with all rank and honors retained. Once relieved, duties relevant to your graduating class remain the same. Midshipman Second Class Christian Cabrera, a Marine Engineering Technology Major from Madison, Maine, will assume the position of Regimental Commander. Midshipman Second Class Cabrera, when directed, assumed command as Regimental Commander. Maine Maritime Academy, Regiment of Midshipmen. As regimental commander, exercise best judgment and prudence in administering the daily operations of the regiment, and never lose sight of the fact that you're now responsible for more than 430 midshipmen of the regiment.
Sir, I assume the duties and responsibilities as regimental commander.
Very well. Sir, I have been relieved as regimental commander by Second Class Midshipmen, Mr. Burrows. Very well.
Regimental commander, class of 2025. You now have the baton.
March. Forward. March. Inboard. Face. Forward. March.
Regimental commander, take charge. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our change of command ceremony. Thank you all so much for attending. Safe travels.
My name is Peter Shelton. I am a Marine Transportation Operations Major, and I am the 2023 to 2024 Regimental Commander. Started out like a mug, like everybody else, not really having ambitions, trying to figure out what I wanted to do when I got to the school. That was me in my freshman year. And then from there, I started just working with people. I took a lot of, very junior roles. Some of it was paperwork stuff, some of it was actually training incoming classes and whatnot. And I just progressed over time, different, levelings of responsibility, and sometimes taking the jobs that no one else wanted to take, but I was willing to do it just to learn something from it. And becoming regimental commander at the end of the day was kind of like, I saw it as the ultimate test of everything I learned from all these other positions. How could I actually put it into play now on a larger scale? So at its core, the regiment is a leadership lab, and throughout the 4 years that you're here, you can participate in it in varying amounts. I would say that it is what you make of it, and what you put in is what you get out. When I first started in leadership roles, I was a third class or a sophomore. That's where I gained the most in terms of as fast as you could, or the bulk of the learning. And then later on, moving into more senior roles, eventually leading up to regimental commander, is where I learned to refine them. And it's it's a unique opportunity where 18-year-olds are put in charge of 30 people, and then eventually going on to 21, 22, 23-year-olds being in charge of over 400 people. It wasn't until later on, early junior year, that I actually decided I wanted to pursue a regimental commander role, at which point I started speaking with past regimental commanders and then the rest of the commandant staff, and then it took about a month of interviewing through different interviews and processes to actually determine or figure out that I'd gotten the role. And then from there, I was responsible in selecting the rest of my wedge, my staff. I think that being part of the wedge, or at least how it impacted my experience on campus, you learn time management. That's the biggest thing. Especially if you have, if you play sports or you do something else, clubs, whatever it is. You really have to learn time management. And most of your days start pretty early with meetings or whatnot. And then you're still a student on top of everything. But learning time management skills and then learning how to interact with people, and I learned the biggest thing, for me at least, was learning the difference between professional relationships and just like a regular relationship you and I would have or something like that. I'd say going forward, using the lessons I've learned, the biggest thing for me. Coming into it, I didn't have a lot of experience, at least leadership roles. But going forward, I've gotten pretty good at meeting people, and even if I don't know someone very well, I can usually work with them pretty well. And I think, I'm leaving here in a week for my first hitch, and I think a lot of it, the ability to get wherever I'm going, it's a hard spot to get, and I was part of it's the right place at the right time, but the other part of it was lessons I learned at school. Going through the Alaska Tanker Company, entering as a third mate, It's operated by OSG, and I'll be down in the Gulf for the first couple months and then back to Alaska.